All right, y'all. Today we're going to be talking about solving equations. Now, this should be a skill you've done before back in middle school, but we're going to go a little bit deeper this year in Algebra 1. We're going to really start with the basics. And that is that when we're trying to solve equations, we're really trying to isolate that variable and really do the opposite of what's going on in that equation. So our example that we're looking at is 2x minus 2 is equal to 6, and we want to solve by isolating that x value. And so the very first thing that we do, we have that 2 multiplied in front of x, and we have that minus 2 over next to x, is we want to get that minus 2 over to the opposite side, and we're going to do that by adding 2 to both sides. So plus 2 and plus 2. Of course, making sure that I am adding it to that 6 because they are the same kind of term. Doing that to both sides. Over on the left side, that minus 2 and plus 2, if we did our jobs correctly, should cancel out. And then over on the right side, that 6 plus 2 is going to give us 8. Okay. Then from there, now we have that 2x fully by itself, but we still need to get that 2 to the other side. It is 2 times x. Remember that opposite operation is going to be the dividing by 2. So if I divide both sides by 2, divide by 2, and divide by 2. Over on the left side, once again, if I did everything correctly to get x by itself, then whatever I just did should cancel out that option, which it does. And then over on the right side, 8 divided by 2 does give us 4. So we get that final solution. Once x is fully isolated, we should have that single isolated answer. In this case, x is equal to 4. Okay, so the big piece with solving equations is that 1 to 2, maybe even 3 or 4 steps, but we're always just kind of trying to do PEMDAS in reverse. We're trying to do those opposite operations. Whatever they're doing in the equation, we're going to do the opposite. So number 1, we have x plus 7 is equal to 17. So x plus 7, we want to do that opposite. So it's going to be minus 7 to both sides. So minus 7 minus. If we did our job correctly, 7 and minus 7 should cancel out. And we're left with x is equal to 17 minus 7, which would, of course, be just 10. Okay. Then on number 2, we have 3x is equal to 24. So once again, they are multiplying x by 3. So we're going to do that opposite operation of dividing by 3. So divide both sides by 3. We want to make sure all of our terms are getting that divide by 3. Once we are performing that, we get our 3 and our 3 to cancel out over on the left, which is, of course, our goal. So we have x equals, and then over on the right, 24 divided by 3, which is, of course, equal to 8. Okay, so these are single step, fairly straightforward. 3 and 4, a little more complicated because these are going to be multi-step solvers. So on number 3, we have 4 minus 2x is equal to 16. And this one, it might be a little less clear what we should do first. But typically, we want to move stuff that's further away from the x first and leave whatever is right next to either multiplied or divided by x till the very end. So we have that 4 minus 2x. So that 4 is a positive 4. So to move that 4 to the other side, we do want to minus 4 on both sides. So minus 4, minus 4. We end up with that 4 and negative 4 canceling out over on the left. So we get negative 2x is equal to 16 minus 4 is, of course, 12. Then our second step, that negative 2 is multiplying in front of x. So once again, we want to do that opposite operation. So divide by negative 2, divide by negative 2. We are going to cancel out both our negative and our 2 over on the left. And on the right, 12 divided by negative 2, 12 divided by 2 is 6. And then our negative does not cancel out, so we're going to end up with negative 6 as our final answer. Okay, now number 4, a little bit different. This time we have x divided by 5 instead of x being multiplied by something like we've seen a couple of times. But then we have that plus 4 equals negative 6. So once again, we do want to try and move whatever's not right next to or attached to the x first. So let's go ahead and move that plus 4. So I'm going to minus 4 and minus 4 to both sides. So plus 4 minus 4 is going to leave me with x over 5 equals negative 6 minus 4 does give me negative 10. Just like I wanted, that plus 4 and that minus 4 are going to cancel out. Then from here, I have x divided by 5 is equal to negative 10. So this time I'm dividing by a number, so I'm going to undo that division by multiplying. So I'm going to multiply both sides by 5. And times 5. So over on the left side, that times 5 and that divide by 5 are going to end up canceling out and leaving me with just x equals. And then over on the right side, 5 times negative 10 would give me negative 50. All right, so I want y'all to try and see if you can do number 5 and number 6 without me. So go ahead and pause the video. See if you can definitely do number 5. If you're feeling a little unsure on 6, that's okay. You can unpause and watch me go over number 6. But go ahead and try both of these by pausing the video and then unpause me when you're ready to check your work. All right, y'all, go ahead and check your works on number 5. We do -1 and -1 to both sides. That leaves us with 4 is equal to 6x. Then dividing by 6 on both sides, we do get x is equal to 4/6, which of course, if we type in our calculator, it should give us that reduced fraction of 2/3. But if you do get a decimal, you can always convert that to a fraction by hitting the math button in that very first option, arrow frac. We'll convert any decimal into a fraction if it will come to a nice whole fraction. And then on number 6, we have 4 minus x divided by 3 equals 10. So this one's a little bit weird, but that dividing by 3 actually is furthest on the outside. So we want to move it to the other side first. So I'm multiplying both the left side by 3 and the right side by 3, canceling out that divide by 3. 10 times 3 is, of course, equal to 30. So we get 4 minus x, which was our leftover on top, equals 30. Then we can subtract 4 from both sides, so -4 and -4 to get negative x is equal to positive 26. And then from here, you can think of this as multiplying by -1 or dividing by -1. Either or is going to get that sign to go to the other side, but we do end up with x is equal to negative 26. And we haven't talked about this a lot, y'all, but if you're ever unsure if your final answer is the correct answer, we can always plug it back in to actually see if that answer is a solution, if it makes this equation true. And that is a good way to be able to kind of check your work when you get to the end. So like if I wanted to check my work on number 5, I could plug, or let's do number 6. So I could plug in that negative 26. So 4 minus negative 26 divided by 3 is equal to 10. And I could just plug that left side right in the calculator, see if I get 10, or I could simplify it by myself if I want to. So negative times the negative 26 is going to make it positive 26. So 4 plus 26 divided by 3 is equal to 10. 4 plus 26 would be 30 divided by 3, which equals 10. And then, of course, 30 divided by 3 is 10, which equals 10. And so we did get that correct solution. And so we have checked it. Everything is good to go. Now, you don't have to do that checking step every time, y'all, but if you're ever unsure on your answer, it can be a good way to see if you're on the right track. All right, y'all, and that is all we have today for solving. We're going to go a little bit deeper each of our days of Unit 2A, but for today, this is all I got for you. Go ahead and work on those workshop stations, and you can check your work and your progress on Canvas.